So, as you can probably tell by the title of this video, last week was not fun at all as an Atlanta Falcons fan. Of course, you guys already know what I'm going to get into. I'm going to try and make this as painless as possible. I'm going to try and make this a very, very short yet detailed discussion on just how bad the Atlanta Falcons played against the Dallas Cowboys. But of course, before I get right into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, starting off with the Atlanta Falcons offense as a whole, they were pretty much terrible. They only managed to score 3 points, get 234 total yards, and turn the ball over 3 separate times. Now, going in more detail, Matt Ryan had a very, very bad game. He had arguably his toughest game of the entire season. Went 9 of 21, 117 yards, 2 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns for Matt Ryan. Now, to be fair for Matt Ryan, his offensive line was straight up terrible. They allowed 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 5 QB hits. Matt Ryan was basically begging for time the entire game. He's basically running for his life. This whole Atlanta Falcons offense looked completely out of whack. After our last nice stretch, maybe 4 or 5 weeks or so where the offense looked pretty good, the Dallas Cowboys pretty much locked us up. And I know that Dan Quinn is our former head coach, and that could have played into the Dallas Cowboys game plan and how they could have locked us up. But however, that Dallas Cowboys defense, they're a great defense, don't get me wrong, but no one expects the Dallas Cowboys to lock up a team, especially with the Atlanta Falcons level of talent, to only 3 points in one game. So I feel like the Atlanta Falcons really were figured out by the former head coach. I feel like it was just a very cold game in general for everybody. Matt Ryan played a tough game. O-line, I mean, while they're usually a bit questionable, this was definitely a tough game for them. However, the Atlanta Falcons actually did something better this game, and that was the rushing game. The Atlanta Falcons rushing game was actually a positive in this game. They ran for a total of 103 yards on 25 attempts, and Wayne Gallman led the team in rushing with what I want to say is 55 yards. You can go and check that. However, the Atlanta Falcons, their rushing game got a lot better. After last week rushing under 40 yards against the New Orleans Saints, it's at least good to see that the Atlanta Falcons can get something positive outside of this game because, man, oh man, it was 36-3 at halftime. That's all I'm going to say. It's not really a lot positive you can get out of this game. Now, for my little rookie report on Kyle Pitts, he seemed to dominate early in the game. Kyle Pitts caught 2 to 3 good passes that looked really, really well. They were pretty much drag routes. It looked like Kyle Pitts was in for a very dominant game. However, after the second quarter, the Atlanta Falcons just couldn't get the ball to Kyle Pitts. He did in the game with 60 yards on 4 receptions, which led the team in both categories. So Kyle Pitts did play a great game. He, in my opinion, did about the best he could, considering that Matt Ryan had no time and played a pretty terrible game himself. So Kyle Pitts, he did give some sort of great production. However, you wanted more, especially given that hot first quarter. You thought Kyle Pitts, watching that first quarter, was going to go easily for over 100 yards. Now, for the rest of the receiving core, they were very, very dormant. The Atlanta Falcons receiving only had 71 yards. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons only had 71 receiving yards when you take away the production of Kyle Pitts. That's how dormant this offense was. 71 receiving yards without Kyle Pitts. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's something that cannot replicate over the next couple of weeks. And now, of course, going to our wide receiver news, Calvin Ridley is still out. We do not know when he's going to be back. There have been no indications that he's coming back anytime soon. So, as usual, we pray for Calvin Ridley. We wish that he can get back on the field as soon as possible, and we wish that his time back on the field is much enjoyable to him, the fans, and his teammates. But, of course, we need to move on to the defense, and the Atlanta Falcons defense was carved up. Plain and simple. You might just want to throw this film in the garbage can if you're the Atlanta Falcons defense. The defense allowed 431 total yards, 43 points, and Dak Prescott, while I need to give Dak Prescott credit, our defense did play terrible, but Dak Prescott had an amazing game. 24 for 31, 296 passing yards, 3 total touchdowns, one of which was rushing, and 2 were passing. And the defense also could not cover the Dallas Cowboys receivers, as 4 Dallas Cowboys receivers went for 40-plus yards on the day, and CeeDee Lamb specifically had an amazing game, 6 receptions for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. man, the Atlanta Falcons defense, especially the defensive backfield, the defensive backs, they couldn't cover the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers at all. I mean, besides AJ Terrell, our defensive backfield is really, really, really tough. It's really, I won't call them bad because they are NFL players and they do deserve some respect, especially coming from a guy like me who's definitely not an NFL player. However, our secondary got carved up. I mean, besides AJ Terrell, pretty much everyone else is a backup level NFL player, or at least playing like a backup level NFL player. Now, of course, the Atlanta Falcons defensive line also played a very, very rough game. They had 1 tackle for loss, 0 sacks on the board, and only 2 QB hits. This is an absolute buzzkill for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, coming off these next couple of weeks, coming off these very, very strong performances, in my opinion. I mean, you had a great performance against the Saints last week, great performance the week before. It hasn't been perfect, but the Atlanta Falcons are definitely a respectable team, and seeing this huge loss really, really killed a lot of our momentum. I mean, you may have expected the Dallas Cowboys to score a lot of points, which is reasonable. I mean, the Cowboys have the best offense in the league at this point. They're averaging 32, 33 points per game. They are number 1 in the league, or at least were as of Sunday. That could have changed. However, this is the defense. As far as we're concerned, the Dallas Cowboys holding us to 3 points was absolutely shocking to me. I mean, I know that Dan Quinn was our former head coach, and that could have played a lot into the game plans. However, them holding us to 3 points was absolutely shocking. And forcing 3 turnovers, that was something the Atlanta Falcons just can't do. That looked really, really bad. It looked so bad to the point where it looked like a college game was being played. I mean, the Cowboys dominated the entire game. Matt Ryan couldn't do anything. It was really, really tough to watch, to be honest with you. It's a buzzkill, and I hope that Atlanta can gain their momentum back in the next couple of weeks. Now, of course, going into next week's game, we have the absolutely hot New England Patriots, who are 5-1 in their last 6 games. They demolished the Browns last week on Sunday, 45-7. They have a great rookie QB, Mac Jones, who personally I think could definitely win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, of course, you have Jamar Chase going absolutely crazy at the wide receiver position, but considering how hard the quarterback position is, especially in a place like New England, who, let's just say they've had a fair history of great quarterbacks. You know, totally not the best quarterback of all time or anything, Tom Brady, but let's just say that New England has a history of great quarterbacks, and for Mac Jones to step in and lead them to a winning record where really nobody expected them to be an amazing team this year, I really think that shows a lot about Mac Jones and his development. Atlanta, they're going to need to show up. This Patriots team is nothing to play with. This game will be on Thursday. It'll be Thursday Night Football. So by the time you're watching this video, at least, this game is actually tomorrow. So if Atlanta wants a chance to win, they're going to need to show up on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. They're going to need to put pressure on the rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, and they're going to need to stop the Patriots rushing game. However, we need to get this win to avoid going to a slump at this point in the season. This is the point of the season where playoffs are being recognized. We are setting seeds. We are in must-win situations. The Atlanta Falcons must avoid going into a slump at this point of the season, as this, in my opinion, is the most important point of the season by far. This is where you get your playoff spots. This is where you start playing your division rivals. This is where the season goes in full swing and we start to find out who the real contenders are. However, going into a little conclusion, the Atlanta Falcons are now 4-5. They're slowly passing through midseason. They could make a playoff push. I still think the Atlanta Falcons have a chance at making a playoff push. I think we needed this loss to calm us down a little bit. However, I do think we have a nice chance against the New England Patriots. Now, I'm not going to put all the coins on the table because I said we had a nice chance against the Cowboys, and you guys know how that aged. But, however, I think we have a nice chance against New England. They have a rookie quarterback. Our defensive line definitely is capable of playing better. Our defense in general is capable of playing better. And New England is nowhere near as good as the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive side of the ball. So I think we have a chance of winning this game. However, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn that notification bell. Help me out a little bit. Links in the description. I have TikTok, Spotify, Instagram. Follow those, whether you follow them or not. However, I wish that you have a blessed day and that you stay loved and stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.
Wanna be rappers, brag about already being the best. I respect many people for the job they've done. Haters full of jealousy is what I like especially. I like the Lord of Funky Man, the lack.